Namah Shivaya Shantaya, Karanaya Kleshahartre, Namah Sarvagnya Rupaya, Digambaraya Te Namaha. In every age, there are souls whose faith burns quietly yet brightly, lighting the paths for others to see what true devotion means. They are not remembered for wealth or power, but for the purity of their love, for the steadiness of their hearts when the world tested them. Among such luminous beings were three Nayanars, three devotees, whose lives remind us that the fragrance of faith lingers long after all else fades. Kungiliya Kalaya Nayanar. He lived in the sacred town in India, where he spent his days offering incense to Lord Shiva. To him, the rising fragrance from the incense symbolized the soul's devotion, unseen, yet spreading far beyond its origin. When fortune left his home and poverty crept in, his love for the divine did not waver. Even when his family went hungry and his wife, in quiet courage, gave up her sacred sign of marriage, a chain, to sell for food, he chose instead to buy the incense sticks. To the world, it seemed an act of folly. To the divine, it was the truest act of faith. In that moment, Lord Shiva appeared as a merchant, revealing himself in the smoke of devotion. The couple's sacrifice was rewarded not just with wealth, but with the grace that fills a life dedicated to love. Later, when a sacred linga leaned in the temple, Kungiliya Kalaya Nayanar tied it to his neck and gently straightened it, a gesture that symbolized that what his life had always stood for, that faith can lift and align whatever has fallen or gone astray. His offering was not merely incense, but the fragrance of surrender itself. Far from this place, there was another devotee, the Manakanchara Nayanar, who lived in the fertile lands of India. He served Lord Shiva by serving all who bore his name, finding holiness in hospitality and grace in humility. When his prayers for a child were answered, he raised his daughter as a gift from God. On the day of her wedding, as joy filled the air, a fierce sage, none other than Lord himself, appeared and made a request that would have shaken any heart. The sage asked for the young bride's hair to make his sacred thread. Without hesitation or question, Manakanchara Nayanar cut her hair and offered it. There were no calculation, no fear of judgment, only the quiet strength of devotion that knows nothing higher than obedience to the divine will. In that instant, the sacred sage revealed his true form, blessing the family and restoring the girl's beauty. The sacrifice had not taken away, it had sanctified. It taught that when we give in love, nothing is ever lost, and what is offered to God returns multiplied, purified, and eternal. And then there was the Arivattaya Nayanar, a humble man from India, whose devotion took the form of daily service. Each day, he prepared a simple meal made of rice, herb sauce, and a special ingredient, the mango pickle, and he offered it to the Lord. When wealth vanished and hunger became his companion, he still continued this ritual, his heart unshaken even when his body weakened. One day, as he carried his offering to the temple, his trembling hands spilled the food to the ground. Believing that he had failed, he wept in despair and resolved to end his life. But as he raised the sickle, he heard the gentle sound of someone eating, the unmistakable taste of the mango pickle being savored. It was the Lord himself. accepting his offering even though it is spilled, imperfect form. The divine appeared with Mata Parvati, blessing the devotee who had given everything except his faith. His tears became sacred and his failure transformed into grace. These stories are not merely tales of devotion from long ago. They are mirrors reflecting what we're all called to remember. In a world that measures success by wealth and recognition, they remind us that the truest offerings are made in silence, in the choices no one sees. Kungiliya Kalaya Nayanar teaches us that even a small act done with pure intention carries the power to move heaven. The Manakanchara Nayanar shows that surrender often requires courage, the willingness to give what the heart clings to most. And the Arivattaya Nayanar reveals that sincerity, even when covered in imperfection, reaches the divine more surely than any flawless performance. Their lives speak of devotion that does not depend on fortune, faith that does not bargain, and love that does not falter. They show that the divine does not ask for gold or grandeur, only for the steady flame of a heart that loves without question. Each of them burned their own kind of incense, one through sacrifice, one through surrender, and one through steadfastness, filling the world with the scent of truth. And so, their message becomes our reminder. Life itself is the temple, and every act of love is an offering. Faith is not a ritual, but a way of being. The quiet courage to choose devotion over fear, love over logic, and surrender over pride. When we live with that spirit, our lives too become offerings, fragrant, invisible, and eternal. The incense of faith still rises, just as it did from the hearts of these Nayanars, carrying with it the most enduring fragrance of all, the scent of unconditional love. When we live this way, every minute becomes sacred, every breath becomes a prayer, and every struggle becomes a step closer to the divine. The incense of faith still burns, not in temples alone, but in the hearts that choose love over fear, humility over pride, and surrender over certainty. May we learn, as they did, that the smallest flame of devotion can light the darkest path, and that in the stillness of a faithful heart, God Himself breathes. Bhaktya tvam drishtam ichchami shambho karunaya maya drishyasya hridi sharvesham esham tvam pranavallabha. May Jagat Pita Mahadev bless us all. Keep seeking, keep chanting, keep surrendering. Om Namah Shivaya.